The weapons supervisor on the set of Rust has been found guilty of involuntary manslaughter following the fatal shooting of the film's cinematographer. I got it right.
Well, Hannah Gutierrez-Reed was responsible for the weapons during the production of the film in New Mexico back in October 2021, when a gun fired by Alec Baldwin went off during rehearsal, killing Halyna Hutchins. Well, here to tell us more, live from LA, is showbiz journalist Kinsey Schofield. Good morning, Kinsey. What can you tell us about the latest developments?
Well, that's right. I mean, I think that this is it's a breakthrough case. We haven't really seen anything like this. If you talk to actors and other people in film production, as they watched this trial unfold, they were horrified. There were multiple discharges on this set before the death of Halyna Hutchins. There was a supervisor for the armorer, or there was a mentor for the armorer, because the armorer clearly was not qualified to be in the position she was. I believe she was 24 at the time, Hannah Gutierrez-Reed. There were multiple people that testified that there was drug and alcohol abuse behind the scenes, and that they were scared that it was not a safe set. So I almost wonder, Nicola, if what they did was lay out the defense for Alec Baldwin's team come July by showing how irresponsible this defendant was, who was ultimately found guilty and could potentially spend 18 months in jail.
But the interesting thing, Kinsey, is surely this, and we don't want to just bring it totally onto Baldwin, but of course there's been civil and criminal charges against him. If you take him out as the actor, right, wasn't he responsible? Did he not set the whole thing up? Was he not the executive producer? Was he in any way responsible for that culture, if you like? You talk drink, drugs, you talk, not having the right people with the right experience. Would he be charged with something like that, or is more specifically pulling the trigger, which is obviously not down to him, is it?
Well, with the grand jury, it's specifically pulling the trigger. But Hannah Gutierrez-Reed's defense was that Alec Baldwin was such an intimidating character. He ran the show no matter what, and she wasn't in a position to tell him otherwise. But there were people that said, she could have checked the guns between shots. She didn't. Specifically, a juror said that is why he found her guilty. He said she didn't do the safety checks that were required. She threw protocol out the window. But you're right, Alec Baldwin, not only the star, the producer and the co-writer of the film. This was a passion project for him. And ultimately, after Halyna's death, they turned around and finished the movie in Montana.
It's an absolutely incredible case. And it's not the first time that, I don't know if you know, Kinsey, I used to work as an actress, and certainly there are horror stories that I've heard and both witnessed working in the industry, whereby things like guns, knives. There was that story about a knife that got changed on a Broadway show, I believe it was, where a fake knife was swapped for a real knife, and an actor ended up having an injury across his throat. I believe he actually died. And these things seem to happen over and over again, and you have to ask the question, who is responsible? Yep. Does the buck stop with the armourer? Or does it stop with the executive producer? And I suppose this is going to be quite
I think it's a seminal case.
It's going to be a seminal case in deciding that. But of course, at the centre of this is a young woman who I believe was a mother and sadly passed away doing the job that she loved. And ultimately, this Hannah Gutierrez-Reed is only facing 18 months in prison and a $5,000 fine. It hardly seems fair, does it?
I mean, I absolutely agree with you, because I think my frustration throughout the trial was that she was completely numb. She rarely showed emotion, a little bit of emotion when they showed images of Halyna dead. But other than that, she really kind of had an I'd rather be anywhere else kind of attitude. You saw a complete makeover, hair and style wise. She had like purple and bright colored hair when the incident happened. They made her over to look like this, church going, young lady before they threw her in the courtroom. But she got her job, Nicola, because of who her father was, a very famous armorer veteran, worked on Gunsmoke, worked on, all of the Mr. and Mrs. Smith. He has this incredible resume, Tombstone. So she got her job because of who her father was. She was not qualified, and she did not respect, the hustle that people like us go through to secure those positions and go over everything 50,000 times because we're so proud that we got there on our own. She didn't respect that. And ultimately it cost someone their life.
Absolutely
Such a
right.
tragic case. Well, thank you so
Thanks,
much,
Kins.
Kinsey, for making sense of the story for us.